Oh no, Kyle. It happened again.
What happened, Mike?
Shrinkage.
Oh no.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
This is Gayish.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
We haven't done a shrinkage in forever.
We haven't, but we're doing it right now.
Yay!
Hey, we're here. We're shrinkaging. On the episode about Harry Potter,
Yeah.
I talked about how Dumbledore didn't do it for me in the gay representation because
Because he was old.
no, I just wonder what all is in that beard.
Okay.
It makes me nervous. No, it didn't work for me as far as gay representation because it wasn't actually, it was backed into him being gay, or if that's how it felt to me.
Yeah, there's somebody on Discord that totally disagrees with you. I think it's Discord. It's either Discord or the Facebook group, one of the two. They're starting to meld in my brain, but somebody is like, it was perfectly clear in the books. He was super queer the whole time. What's wrong with you for not thinking that? You, meaning Kyle, in this context.
Wow.
So, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's a good thing I didn't see that. Okay, so all of a sudden at 2 a.m. I was like, I have this amazing idea. What if there was a Bechdel test for LGBT?
Yay!
That already exists. So
The butt dick test.
I don't know. I can't think of a funny one right now. So GLAAD, actually, Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, really great nonprofit, created its own version of the Bechdel test, which it calls the Vito Russo test.
Oh, I'm glad.
What? That it's not butt dick or whatever you said?
That's a glad joke. I'm glad.
I didn't. Wow, it was so subtle that
Thank you.
I barely noticed it. Okay. So do you recognize Vito Russo? Probably Vito Russo. That name
From Greece? Nope. From
Celluloid Closet?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. So he wrote the book Celluloid Closet. After he died, they then turned it into. They meaning I think Lily Tomlin and I don't know, whoever else turned it into the movie which we listened to or watched and then talked about on the X-Rated podcast ages ago. But I want to tell you the 3 criteria for the Vito Russo test.
Okay. Is it just the Bechdel test but with queers instead of women?
Nope.
Okay, great.
Because the thing about the reason I think specifically the Bechdel test. So if anyone doesn't know, the Bechdel test is a way to evaluate if films are.
It's a very low bar.
Yeah,
But great.
I don't actually remember the details of to see if they are portraying female characters. And it's is there one? It just have to have one scene or a couple scenes.
Just two women have to talk to each other
about something that
about
is
something other than men.
Is it and just one scene in the entire movie?
There's so many films that meet it barely that are just like
it is. That sounds so easy, but it is very. But it is not many movies do not. A majority of movies do not have
blockbusters,
that.
especially.
Men are allowed to have different quests and adventures and do different things, but women are portrayed in movies as if they are separate. If they're not in the scene with a man, then when they talk, it is about a man. So their lives, they don't have their own pursuits and interests and goals. So no, it's not like that because that doesn't totally work for LGBT representation. That doesn't totally translate.
Sure.
So
2 gays appear on screen and talk to each other about something other than dicks.
and don't fuck. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So there are 3 things that you need to pass the Vito Russo test. The first one is the film contains a character that is identifiably lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, or queer.
So I think the Bechdel test requires that the women have to have names. Is that part of the Russo test?
No.
Okay, great.
I mean, these essentially would be people that have names because I'll get to that, but they likely do. But no, that's not part of the test. That I think so. That right there spoke to at least. I mean, you can read into the books however you want, but in terms of the movies, we did not see Dumbledore in any way doing anything identifiably queer.
Yep.
And that's like identifiably, like, so that's what's important is it has to be, it can't just be assumed. It can't be, oh, this character happens to be this, but they don't do it. Like,
it's not innuendo. It's not coded. It's fucking gay.
Identifiably. The next thing is the character must not be solely or predominantly defined by their sexual orientation or gender identity. So they need to be a fully formed character that does more than just being gay.
They're not the token queen.
Exactly. That actually speaks to the next one, which is LGBT characters must be tied into the plot in a way that their removal would have significant effect. So to your point, they cannot just be there for comedy. They cannot just be there as a punchline. They have to be important to the story. So that's why I'm saying, like, it is in all likelihood, if you have a character that is that vital to the story that they cannot be removed, you would probably name them in your screenplay.
Okay. Interesting. Because one thing I wonder is, what if it's not the character that was removed, but their queerness? Like, if you just make a character that's otherwise, their orientation isn't important to the plot, you just make them gay, does that still count?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would. Based on these criteria.
Like you read through the screenplay and you're like, oh, Sandy, hey, let's make Sandy a gay dude instead. That could...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, that would be they're identifiably gay. They would have to have like goals or whatever. It'll be a fully fleshed out character, and as long as they're important to the plot. Yeah. I mean, like, everyone's like, well, I've even had my parents say this to me about things I write. Like, why did you have to make them gay? And it's like, why do you have to make every character straight? There's no reason this character has to be straight. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
They can just happen to be gay, and like, that's fine. It's like, if it's straight, then that's fine. But if it's gay, it's like, well, why do we need it to be gay? It's like,
Yep.
Just to make you feel better, like, fuck off. I'm gonna make some of my characters gay, and actually, most of my characters are gonna be gay.
Yeah.
And you can eat my ass.
So Dumbledore clearly fails.
Yep.
Right. Like, it's just a total fail.
Yep. On all accounts. I'm reading a thing on GLAAD from 2018. So it said,
I'm glad.
Okay. You know, they say if a joke doesn't work, do the exact same joke 5 minutes later, and just see if it works that time.
They also say keep doing it until it's funny.
That's true. There is like sometimes if you like just keep saying the same thing. Okay. In 2018, they said there were 14 LGBT inclusive major studio films, and 9 of them, so about 2/3, passed the Vito Russo test. So not even all the films that have LGBT representation even pass this test, so of course the major studio releases across the board are going to have very low number that actually pass. The previous year, 9 of the 23 LGBT inclusive films passed it. That was in 2016. And the record low was in 2015, where 8 of the 22%, so about 1/3, passed the Vito Russo test. So we have a ways to go, even with films that include LGBT characters. My suspicion is making them defined by more than just their orientation. That would be my guess as to what things commonly don't pass.
Yeah.
That part of the test. And I think I've often said, like, we need more than just the coming out story. Coming out story is great and important, but there's way more that goes on in gay people's lives. So I feel like those are overrepresented because that's kind of it's like an easy, big defining moment for gay people. So we want to see that story, but like, there's so much more we could be talking about too.
Yeah. People seem to like the coming out story. Even gay people seem to like the coming out story. Like, is that just because is that so prevalent because it sells? Like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I agree with you. I agree with your assessment that there needs to be more there. There needs to be other kinds of stories, but that as a central drama is so compelling, it seems to, I could see that selling, right? Like that's...
And it's something that straight people can pinpoint. They like understand that part, so they can understand where the drama would be. So gay people want to see themselves represented. Straight people can understand that phenomenon. So yeah, I think that makes sense. And yeah, that is just like rife with like conflict and drama, and that makes sense to be a topic of a movie.
Yeah.
But in that way, I think it's also an easy thing to go to. Like, it's easy to write a movie about death. It's easy to write a movie about love and getting married, like falling in love and getting married, like, because those are those big moments, but that doesn't represent the whole of who we are.
Yeah. It's interesting too that like 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 20 people is gay, and we're not even anywhere fucking close to that in representation.
Yeah. It's definitely not 1 out of 10.
I'm just
3 to 5%.
I'm giving a range. That's all.
It's not. That's lower than that.
Whatever. I don't care. The point is, it's not even close.
You drill me on like whenever I say I get to correct you on this. You're so like whenever I bring studies, you like poke me on really specifics. It's like the reason this stands out is because like there was a number that was 1 out of 10 like a long time ago, and that has since been disproven. So when anyone says that number, it's like that's not the number. That was a myth, and people just still kind of hold on to that original number. So
okay,
this is not what we're talking about though. But yeah, like if 5% of people are LGBT, then we do not have that number of LGBT characters represented.
And the LGBT characters that we do have, people are saying, like, why are you going to have so many fucking queers?
Yeah, yeah. And you're like, you have all the other movies. You have every single other movie.
Or every other character in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. It's the Vito Russo test.
Test your shit. Know your status.
Test your veto. This has been a PSA. This entire thing was a really big lead up to the PSA of get tested, everybody. Only you can prevent
sex with vetoes.
Forest fires of the anus, also called gonorrhea.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Well, that's all for this mini episode.
It was mini.
It was mini. It was an episode. And it was kind of gayish.
Yeah, so...
Remember to the 3 R's, rate, review, and rescribe.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Katz.
And be butch, be fabulous, stay out of the cold water.